Hi everyone, it's Pauline again. I've been showing people this flower that I learnt from Jane Clark, and I did do it on my ATC swaps that I have shown you in recent past videos. So people have asked me to show them how to do it, so I thought I would go ahead. This was the original one Jane Clark showed us how to do at her camp, and as I said, this is the one from the ATC swap. So what you need to do is you can start off two ways. One, you can start off with stamped images of flowers such as these, and these ones come from Hero Arts flower set here. You can do a whole set of those, and you can colour them directly onto your sheet, or you can use Tim Holtz+Tattered flowers on his die. This is this one here. It's hard to see the flowers there, but I use two sizes there. Now the one that has the stamps comes out in this flower here, and the one with the tattered flowers comes out like this. Now as you can see, there's a size difference, but it just depends on what you're using. So if you need a smaller one, obviously you just use the stamps or a smaller flower die, but if you don't mind a big one, tattered flowers is just fine. So if you're going to use the tattered flowers images, what you do is you stamp out your pattern, and these I got from hot off the press stamps. And it's this set here and this set here, and you just stamp out an image that you want. Then all you do is you run through your Cuttlebug or your die cutting machine, and you come out with your images already cut out like that. Now all you've got to do, it's similar to whatever size you're going to do, the method is just the same. What you need to do is you need to colour it. Now if you're going to do it on your stamp sets, you just colour it straight on before you cut it out. So you just start doing your colourings. Now what I start with is distress inks. This is distress stain and vintage linen. And you just put your first colour in the middle, round about there. You always start off with your lightest colour. I'm going to continue on with the tattered flowers one, but you would just do the same thing on your stamped images, and then you would cut them out. But with the tattered flowers ones, it's already cut out for you, so we'll start off with that one. So you just colour the centre with the lighter colour, and then you continue on with your other colours. Now I'm going to use the distress inks now, and this one is the tea dye, the lighter one. So you just ink it up and you start colouring with your tea dye on the outer side, leaving some of the vintage linen on the inside. So this is why you always go from lightest to darkest, and you just colour that up like that. Then what you do is you go to your darker colour, and this time I'm going to use the Vintage Photo, which is quite dark. So just go lightly to start off with, and as you can see, you're just getting on the outside edge there, just to give it the tips of the flowers that darker colour. Of course, this is the vintage colours that I'm doing them in. I much prefer to do the vintage colours. And that's your flower already done. Now, if you wanted to with your stamped images, you could go along after you cut them out and you could give them some extra edging, just to make sure that you've got all those edges done. Then what you need to do, after you have all your flowers done, you need to cut. Now with the images such as this one here, where the petals are quite low, you will need to cut into the centre. So all you need to do is to get in there and you just give them a little snip. Not quite right to the centre, just to give them a little extra length in their petals. Just like that. So you can see here now, I've got this extra length in my petals. And all you need to do is to fold them in the centre like that. So you just keep folding. So this goes for each of the layer of petals that you do. And just like that. And then you get your needle tool, or a knitting needle's fine, and you just bend your flowers over to the end of the petals. So you go right along and do all your petals like that until they're folded over. Keep going. And you fold them up like that, and then you've got your petals with some dimension. Oops, one I forgot. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, the dimension is there with the petals. Then when you finish that, you need to varnish them. Now what I'm going to use is the Tattered Angels Glimmer paint, and it has sprinkles inside it, so glitter. So what you need to do is to make sure that that glitter is well distributed into the bottle, so give it a good shake because it settles very quickly. And this colour here that I'm using is called Hayride, and that gives you that colour on top. So all you need to do is get your paintbrush and you paint it on. Now because this is Tim Holtz's Distress Stains, it actually reacts with the liquid that you're putting on it, and it blends the colours in really nice. So don't be frightened to give it a good coat. It looks really, really nice, especially with the glitter on it. Now, if anyone watches my videos, you know I'm always in a hurry. So you can actually dry this with a heat tool. So once you've got all that varnished on there, I'll just put the lid back on. As we all know, we've had accidents of spilling our things. And what I'm going to do is get my handy dandy pad here that I've used before, a bit of aluminium foil on top of some chipboard, and then you dry it. Now this is my heat tool that I was talking about, my big Black & Decker. I do use my Ranger sometimes, but this is very powerful and it dries very quickly. So I'm always in a hurry. And it doesn't take long to dry. There you go, that's done. And then you've got this nice glimmer. I don't know if you can pick that up on the video there. If you need to, you can go back along because it's a little bit flexible at this stage, and you can bend them back up again until you get the shape you want. And then if you want to, you can go ahead and do another coat and dry it again. Now I've previously finished the other flowers that I've got here, so I've got my 3 levels that I wanted. Now all you have to do is to use dimension dots to layer them up, and there they are. So all you do is just layer your dots onto one layer. Sorry, I don't have great fingernails for this, so I'll use my tool. and layer the second one onto the first, just offsetting it so you've got your petals covered there, so you can see that you've got two levels here. And again, you go ahead and do it for your third level. You can put as many levels as you want. I just find that this is sufficient for what my needs, but you could layer more on if you want. And there you've got your flower. It's very quick. You can, if you want to, put a button or a gem in the middle, which is where I've done here. And that's your flower done. It's very easy. But if you've noticed here, we've got some leaves. So all you need to do is, for that, is to layer some more of your design on it, and then just draw some leaves on the back, and then cut these leaves out. So we'll just go ahead and do that. I'm probably not the best leaf drawer in the world, but it's a fairly easy shape to do. I'll go ahead and do those. And you colour these the same as you've done the flower, but obviously in the green. So what I'm going to do, I have my two leaves. I now have my more distress inks, and I'm going to use, the first one I'm going to use is mustard seed to give it the lighter colour. So we'll go ahead and use that. Change my tops here. And colour up your thing, and then you can go over the whole lot of the leaf. Then you go in with your second colour, obviously a darker one. So this one I'm going to use the peel paint. So we'll just go ahead and do some of that. Excuse me doing this off camera. Okay. So then just ink that up, and you go ahead and you do the darker ink on the outside, just leaving a little bit in the middle to give you that highlight in the middle of your flower. Sorry, your leaf. Okay. Of course, making sure you have your craft sheet underneath. Just colour it the way you want it. And then what you can do is you actually go back over it with the brown again, just to give it a kind of more vintagey look. So what I just tend to do is just kind of hit the edges a bit of the flower or the leaf, just to give it kind of a, oh, went a bit dark there. Well, we can solve that problem. Just lighten it up. There we go. This is obviously a very burnt leaf. There we go. Now all you need to do now is shape that. So you just shape them the same as you have done the petals, but you do the opposite way. These you do from the inside out. So you go ahead and you just shape them like that. So you've ended up with a leaf shape like that. And just to make them a little more realistic, you can just give it a little bit of a bend, just to give it more of a mottled look. So you're ending up with a shape something like that. And then you go over that with some more of the varnish, and this one I'm using the same Tattered Angels one, but this one's called Organic Garden. And you just do the same thing by varnishing these as well. And like I said, because of the it's distress inks, they all blend. Plus the glitter paint does actually have a little bit of colour in it, so it adds to it. Back on that. And again, you need to dry these off. My little handy dandy tool. And dry them. They actually it stiffens them as the varnish adds a little bit extra thickness to your cardstock. One's decided to go and do a trip away. Come back. I may have to hold this one down. It seems to want to wander off. There we go. So when you have your finished flower, all you do is you tuck these in under your flower, and you end up with that. So I'll just actually put some dimension dots or some foam dots under that. So you just kind of put it on the end of each. There. Pull off those. And you just tuck it in under your flower into whichever way you want them to go. And there, you've ended up with your flower. It's very simple and easy to do. You do get a little grubby, but you wouldn't be crafters if you didn't like getting a bit grubby. So I hope you enjoyed that. I would like you to subscribe if you would like, and so you can learn some more. I'm sure I'm going to get some more videos going for you, and let me know if you like what you see. Okay, thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.